Hi. We're going to make blueberry muffins today. I have learned since we've started videoing and I've gotten all my mise en place together that I always need a spurtle or a spoodle, and which is a Scottish tool, a spoon that they use in their kitchens, and one of these guys, a spatula. Okay, all right. So I have measured 2 teaspoons of baking powder in here, and I'm putting my dry ingredients into this bowl first. And so with that, I'm going to do 3/4 cup of sugar, and I need to measure the flour. We're going to do 1.5 cups of flour. So 1.5 cups of flour, if you're using a half cup, that's 3 half cups. And if you are learning your fractions, if you're watching this with your mom and you're learning your fractions, if you add 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, you get 1.5. So I'll measure those out. I'm going to level those off. We are using freshly milled soft white wheat flour because that is good to use for baking muffins. Okay, so let's see. I've got the baking powder. I need the salts. We got baking powder, flour, and salt and sugar in our dry ingredients. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get this spoon out just to kind of mix my dry ingredients up. You can also use a whisk. Those work good. Okay. So I've got my dry ingredients mixed in, and now I'm going to get my wet ingredients. Now, this recipe that I have, it calls, you mix your wet ingredients together in a different way. So you take your egg, and you're going to get to a volume of 1 cup. So 1 egg. Then you measure 1/3 of a cup of oil. You can use vegetable oil. I've used canola oil. I'm sure you could also use coconut oil, and melt that and add it to your mixture. Once you get your 1/3 cup of oil and 1 egg into your measuring cup, you're going for 1 cup. So this is, I'm using this. This is, you can use this measuring cup, you can use to measure solids or liquids, and I have it on the liquid side. But now we're going to add milk up to 1 cup. So we have 1 cup of liquids to pour into our solid mixture. Okay, and then I will take and mix those all together. Okay, the last thing that we're going to add, we want to mix just until it comes together. If you, like with muffins and pancakes and waffles, if you over mix them, they'll become tough. I have frozen blueberries here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, it should be a cup because I measured them before I froze them, but just to make sure, I'm going to measure them again. I'm going to add a little bit of flour to the bag, and the flour will coat those blueberries and keep them suspended in the mixture in the muffins instead of all the blueberries just going to the bottom because they're more dense than the mixture itself. Here's 1/2 cup. Blueberries going everywhere. All right. We're really close to a cup, so I'm just going to go ahead and add all those in. And we're just going to gently fold those blueberries into the mixture. So when you're folding, you use a turning motion, like you're turning those blueberries into the mixture. And now we are ready to put those into the cups. I'm going to take my 1/4 cup and measure those out into my muffin cups. And then we will coat, and this time I have made my crumb coating, or my crumb topping, I should say. Oh, these are going to be full of blueberries. Yummy, yummy, yummy blueberries. So last summer I froze some blueberries. If you have blueberries at your house, you can of course pick them and freeze them. If you find them on sale, it's a good idea to also freeze them for you to have to use in the fall and winter before the blueberries start producing again in the spring. I know a lot of people have blueberries that produce in the later part of summer, but we have blueberries that produce in the springtime. Okay, now we're going to add the crumble. The crumble is made up of sugar, butter, cinnamon, and flour. And so the recipe that I use calls for 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of butter, which is like 1/2 stick, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon. But I never use all of that. So I half that part of that recipe. This recipe always makes a baker's dozen for me. Okay, let's put those in the oven. It is set at 400. Yeah, set at 400, and we'll bake for 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so the timer just went off, but I forgot to turn the timer on when I started baking the muffins, so I kind of guesstimated at how long they should be in there. So I'm just going to use my toothpick to test like I usually do and see if it comes out clean. And it did, so they're ready to come out. And I can see some blueberries down in there. When I do a crumble, maybe somebody can comment and tell me why. It seems like, I don't know if it's because my butter portion, like my butter pieces are too large or what, but it seems like you'll see that some of them look a little sunk in the middle, but they still eat and they're still good. And it's a good recipe. I've had them come out, really risen in the middle and then sometimes not. So there's my last one. There's my number 13. It's in a metal pan and it got a little darker because it was by itself. All right. Thank y'all for watching.